and said, "What have you done, Les?" So I kind of the next week joined the gym, and for the past 7 years, I haven't stopped.
What's up, everybody? This is Matt from the Gym Partners app, back here with my buddy Rory. And today on our interview, we have one of our first original Gym Partners users. His name is Les. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, Les, if you wouldn't mind. Just give us a quick little background on mostly kind of concerning your workout routine and kind of your workout journey. But if you want to share a little bit of your personal info, that would be cool too. So take it away.
For sure. So I started working out back in 2012, properly lifting weights back then. Kind of introduced to the powerlifting scene, and then probably did that for about 8 years. And then I left the army and completely ruined all the work I'd put in. I went on a bit of a drinking binge, eating binge for 3 years. And I ran into a friend of mine who poked me in the belly and said, "What have you done, Les?" So I kind of the next week joined the gym, and for the past 7 years, I haven't stopped. I've just been working out, trying to lose body fat, trying to get a bit bigger, get rid of that dad bod that I had. And then I was using YouTube as a bit of a motivation thing. And I heard this guy's voice say, "Hoist it up," in one of the videos. And I was like, "Who is that guy?" And I found out that it was Leroy Davis. And then I saw your app and I was like, "I've got to have that. I've got to have it just to hear him annihilate me in the mornings."
So I guess, yeah, I'll interject there. So you also are a disciple of the school of Leroy.
Yeah, I love hearing him screaming at people on the app, listening to the different configurations where you can have him say different things to you.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Rory and I, we started working on this app probably, it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. That's a long time to work on anything. And as we start finally getting to interview, some of our users, it's been super rewarding to know that some of that work has paid off, and that you guys and some girls actually as well are getting something out of that. So that's been super cool. I feel like this app is resonating with certain types of people who, for me, it's become kind of this mental trigger, which, my introduction to Leroy was the same in that, I heard that voice and it just touched something inside of me where I was like, man, that just gets me super fired up. And the idea behind the app being if you had that kind of on demand and you could just push it, it would become this kind of mental trigger for you. So would you say that that's kind of been your experience thus far using the app?
Yeah, for sure. I like to play it over some of the YouTube videos with him, so I've got it double as well. It's really is a good kick, especially if you get them timed right when you're finishing a set or something, and he's screaming. It's good.
Yeah. So part of one of the new features we're going to be working on pretty soon is actually, I don't know if you use any wearable, heart monitor or anything like that, but eventually what we would like to do is get it set up to where it can actually be synced with some of the physical stuff that's going on with you. Like if your heart rate gets to a certain point, it'll trigger a certain clip. Also features where, I have a Garmin watch that can actually track some of my reps if I'm doing, say, like a bench press. So we're kind of trying to get something in there where, you set a target, and if you're reaching that target, but the app sees that you're kind of slowing down on the bench press, it'll trigger the appropriate Leroy clip for you. So that'll be some new stuff we're going to be working on, but that's killer, man. I wanted to ask you, you seem to be pretty up to date. You've been filming a lot of your workouts and giving us a shout on Instagram, obviously, and we appreciate that. What would you say has been your motivation for filming the apps? Any particular reason or just?
Yeah, so it started out as like a private diary just to see how I was getting on. And then I kind of made it public just for my friends and family to see how I was doing. And then I got a GoPro and I thought, what, I'll just video my workouts. And then COVID hit. So most of my workouts to begin with were being filmed in my back garden with my son. And then I just took it into the gym and I post them every almost every day that I do a workout, be it at home or abroad.
Yeah, I was just going to point out real quick that we do have another pack in the pipeline, a Leroy pack. So you seem to be one of our super users, so I figured you may be excited to hear that, because if you're using it every day, I imagine you beat the 12 clips to death, perhaps. So stay tuned. We should have that coming out soon.
Oh, cool. I look forward to that.
I wanted to ask on that point, Les, because for me, it is true that, right, we have this one pack available right now. But for me, one of the core things I wanted to talk to you about, like you said, you have a military background. I've almost found that repetition, obviously in the gym, we do reps, that's a thing. But getting to the core of things like, mindset, I found for myself that I've actually kind of programmed my brain because of listening to these clips over and over again. It's almost become like a switch where I know, like, okay, this is the switch I want to hit when I'm really going for my top, hardest set. As I'm sure Leroy was got some clips in there talking about, let's see what's left in the pot, in them trenches. So I kind of map my workout with the clips to coincide with that. So just your own personal use, have you found that to be the case, or how exactly have you found the clips in that sense?
Yeah, so I do exactly that. When I'm coming to the end of a workout, I'll reprogram the app so that I've got those what's left in the tank, in them trenches, etc. Like you say, just to give me that little bit extra. Come on, let's go. Let's get it up.
Awesome. So let me ask you then also, let's move into a little bit more in the specifics. What would you say your goals right now are as far as working out? Rory and I have said, actually, Big Pale Nasty yelled at me in our last interview with him about saying we weren't bodybuilders. Me and Rory, we understand the lengths and the difficulty that being an actual competitive bodybuilder is. So I don't ever want to give anyone the impression that we're trying to do that. But what would you say your fitness or workout goals currently are? And also give us a little example of your philosophy behind your workout routine, if you wouldn't mind.
So after I started doing powerlifting back in 2012, and then kind of let it all go and got poked in the belly, I kind of looked at myself and thought, I don't want to have that dad bod that seems to be the big fashion thing. And I just started looking at where I could go back to doing Madcow 5x5 workouts, which I really enjoyed when I was doing strength and powerlifting training. Kind of been cycling between that, push-pull legs, traditional compound lifts and what have you, just to not be that typical dad bod. And then trying to sort my diet out with those workouts to try and get that elusive lose fat and gain muscle type of thing. But that's kind of what I've been trying to do recently before I went on holiday. And then I finished vacation, and now it's back to eating as much as I can and train as much as I can.
Yeah, so you say you're doing the 5x5, 3 days a week, push, pull, and legs?
So the Madcow 5x5 is it's a really old workout, and it's 3 days a week, and the Monday is bench, row, and squat. Then on the Tuesday, I'll do something supplementary. Like today, I did chest and biceps, just isolated those two, and then tomorrow I'll have deadlift, squat, and overhead press. Thursday will be again something supplemental, like I'll just do calves, or I'll do arms and an isolation. And then Friday is again it's squat, bench, and row again. It's progressive overload over 12 weeks, which seems to work really well when I want to try and increase my strength. And if I eat a lot of calories, I'll put a bit of weight on as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've actually done a very similar program before. So yeah, that's interesting though. Keep going. Matt, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Les, we're trying to, touch on everybody's different facets of what they're doing. As far as your diet, I would put myself in the same ballpark, doing the ever elusive, try to lose fat and gain muscle. I guess I would call it body recomposition, fighting off the dad bod. So what would you say your diet strategy is currently?
Currently, it's chicken and rice, beef with rice, Vietnamese pho, which is just beef or chicken in a broth with some noodles. I try not to eat fast food, but I do because it's just easy. But I do try and keep it low fat, high protein, as much as I can.
And what about, are you tracking anything as far as your calories or even your workouts? How are you doing that?
So yeah, I use a MyZone heart rate monitor, which allows me to see how hard I'm working in a sort of cardio environment. But I've got a journal that I write a lot of my workouts in, as well as obviously the diary that I use for on Instagram. As for calories, I use the MyFitnessPal app for scanning barcodes of what it is I'm eating, or if I'm eating something scratch made, I'll try and get the calories and the protein, etc., or the macros for that meal. There's a lot of good pages on Instagram that will show you recipes, and I try and copy those into it so that when I make them and eat them, I can put them straight into MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big MyFitnessPal user over here as well. One of the big questions I've been asking people, and you don't have to tell me your age if you don't want, but I'm 39, and I'm finding my recovery. This is what I'm trying to find out from everyone. My recovery, I feel like my workouts are especially with the Gym Partners app, have gone up, quite a few notches over the past couple of years. But my recovery, starting to slip into that next phase of life, it's just slowed down so much. So are you taking any kind of supplements, any kind of stretching? What are you doing for your recovery, if anything?
I'm 48, 49 next year. I take vitamins, I take cod liver oil, I take ZMA before bed. I don't stretch half as much as I should. Some days it can be good, and I won't feel any soreness. Other days I can be in agony for a week, depending on what I've done.
I've recently just started taking some fish oils. I do pretty good with my diet, but I definitely don't get enough fish. And I started taking that, which I'm hoping can help a little bit with just, general inflammation and a little bit of recovery. But have you ever tried any specific supplements for recovery in that sense, or are you just kind of sticking to the basics?
For recovery, it's basically my ZMA and cod liver oil in tablet. I have pre-workout before I work out as well, but that's about it.
Awesome. So again, we're going to keep these fairly short and, just digestible for everyone. But I wanted to kind of get into one last little thing with you, which again, with a little bit of your military background, do you have any mindset tricks or tips that you found over the years that, maybe came from that background, or just things, you've learned later on that have helped you? Anything from just when you don't want to work out to diet, mindset stuff, anything like that you could share with the rest of the folks out there to maybe help them out?
I think that fighting spirit just to keep going, or I've got a goal and I need to do a certain thing to get there. Definitely had that, especially when I was doing the powerlifting. I need to get to the next kilo up when I was working out. And then when I kind of let it all go for a couple of years, and then somebody inspired me by poking me in the belly, I kind of thought, I have to do this. I have to move forward. And listening to those YouTube videos and motivation, I've kind of gone past having to listen to them now, because it's just an automatic switch at 5 a.m. My alarm goes off, I get up, I have a coffee, I have a pre-workout, and then I go to the gym. And it's automatic now. But it does take time to get into that routine of doing that. And keeping the goal, I just wanted to have that kilo extra on all of my lifts just to keep going.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Somebody actually messaged me a couple days ago, and I'm probably going to do a video, I think, just about this. It was kind of talking about the discipline side of things. It was on one of the videos that we posted of Leroy from our interview with him and Anth. And it's kind of interesting because once you start to get into that mode, like you said, it's not quite as difficult once you have that momentum behind it. You do a couple days, and the next thing you know, you got a couple weeks, you've been getting up and going to the gym, and then a couple months. And it kind of, like you said, it becomes a little bit easier in the sense you don't need as much, quote unquote motivation. But sometimes we all need, like you said, a poke in the belly moment. And what I was hoping to achieve with this app was to give people something externally outside of themselves that, even though this is an internal process, for some reason, myself included, I've always felt inspired or motivated, whatever you want to call it, by external forces. And that's for both good and bad. I'm sure everyone can relate. And when I became aware of how influenced I was, I said, well, this could be two ways. It could be bad influences, but there could also be good influences if I'm the type of person that is influenced in this way. So why not create something that gives me that, whatever it is, special thing that Leroy, just from hearing him on the Blood and Guts DVDs, gave me. So do you have, besides obviously, like, you said YouTube videos, and obviously you've been using the app, which again, we super appreciate you using and posting, any other kind of external things that you've used or come across that helped you to, move past maybe a sticking point?
Just having my specific playlists. I've got your playlist now I like to listen to. If I'm in a rut or something, I'll have a specific set of music or a genre of music I'll listen to just to get myself out of that and push forward.
Yeah, it's crazy just the power of audio. And I know you're a creative person with your video editing and stuff. So when you see someone else kind of gravitating toward that power of audio, it's just, like I said, it's super cool to see somebody else in that mindset and getting something out of it. Rory, did you have any other questions for Les here? We're going to keep it short today, but Les, we definitely want to have you back on again, and we'll talk some more in-depth stuff on specific stuff. But we're just trying to kind of introduce ourselves to some of our users and just talk with some of you guys and girls and make some virtual friends to start off and just kind of go from there. So Rory, did you have any other questions or anything for him?
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate your transparency, man. I think there's a lot of value to that to other people who may be listening. You know, a lot of times things on social media are pitched that a person does it right all the time. You know, mentioning that there were 3 years that you weren't being your best, and here you are looking good. You look great for 49. I want to tell you that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of value to others and the transparency, you know, saying, hey, I try not to eat fast food, but I am a human. So I'll live to fight tomorrow and I'll try not to eat the hamburger then. But we're all human. I just think, again, you know, I appreciate your transparency.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, we're going to be definitely in touch with you. And once again, we appreciate all the posts and using the app. We're going to be doing a new Leroy pack. So hopefully in the next few weeks here, we'll have a brand new Leroy pack with some new motivational phrases for you to hit those new goals. So thanks again, man. And we'll be talking with you soon.
Not a problem. Cheers.
All right. Have a great one.
Thanks, guys.